As a matter of fact, two more conversations. One, we're going to talk about the issue of education. Remember the federal government that said they will increase fees for NECO and WAEC. Well, they've rescinded that decision or suspended because they want to consult with stakeholders. People have criticized the government that with a harsh economic situation, what exactly is going on? What are you thinking about? Why are you thinking about increase for the former price, the former amount, or the previous amount was even difficult for a lot of people. Now you want to, exert more burden. Well, they've decided to suspend it. We're also going to talk about the ADC because politics is in the air. Very soon the ban on campaign, well, they've been campaigning since. That's why the NECO is very weak on this one. But the official campaign season will kick in soon. ADC is still struggling in the courts. And Bukola, I just wanted to remind you that the aspiration that we had that the prices of PMS will go down may be affected pretty soon because pump price, crude oil price has gone up. I was checking this morning. Yesterday went up as high as 10%, 9 to 10%. That's Brent crude, and this morning that's almost 82, 83. Today, as we speak, it's about 85 naira per $5, sorry, per barrel. But let's get to our very next conversation. I think, Bukola, you have this one.
Yes, indeed. And, I'm just thinking, how much did I pay for WAEC when I wrote WAEC back then in 1999, I believe? I can't recall, but it's certainly nowhere near...
Nothing close. Something was 35 naira for...
Yeah, something in that region, right?
For people who went to public secondary schools. 35 naira per night.
Something in that region. Yeah, Jeffrey, it seems as if we went to school at about the same time. Maybe you were a few years ahead.
I'm a millennial, no. Yes, I'm a few years ahead.
You're a few years ahead.
Yes.
So, but what is currently being paid is about 30,000 naira. But there was a proposal to increase it to a uniform amount of 50,000 naira. So, as it is currently, with the reforms of the federal government impacting on many aspects of national life, particularly the purchasing power of Nigerians, how many parents can indeed afford 50,000 naira WAEC fees? Don't forget that the national minimum wage is currently 70,000 naira. So let's have this conversation amid other education policy decisions that have come through from the federal government in the last year or so. And so joining us this morning for this conversation is Mr. Felix Agbesonwa, Chairman, Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools, Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, is also the National Public Relations Officer of that association. He joins us virtually on the program this morning. Mr. Agbesonwa, good morning, sir. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning, the uncle, the woman and the uncle man. Thank you so much.
Indeed. Thank you, sir, for joining us. So, what is the disposition of your association to the proposed increase now? It's been suspended, not scrapped totally. So what the federal government is saying is that pending stakeholder consultation, perhaps the decision can be reviewed. So it's only pending. What is the disposition of the association to this proposed hike?
The union, not association, please. The union. Thank you so much. Let me first commend the federal government for suspending the proposed increase in WAEC and NECO examination fees. As a union and as a stakeholder, I think what ought to be done at the initial stage was what the federal government now did at the last stage. There should have been a wider consultations among stakeholders, teachers' body unions, and other relevant stakeholders on the field. Suspension doesn't mean they have cancelled it. Suspension just means that because of the outcries of our people, they just said, okay, let us allow them to keep quiet and allow peace to reign. That is why they said, let us suspend it. But nevertheless, either suspending it for now or either coming back with another harsh policy that will trigger the pains of the parents that are struggling to send their children to school. Don't forget, education should be a free kind of thing to average Nigerians. I remember when I sat down for my WAEC, how much did we pay for our WAEC? Maybe 10,000 or around 6,000 or 5,000. But nevertheless, the situation has come as a relief to many Nigerians across the state, especially to millions of parents and guardians already backing the harsh economic realities in the country. Is it the parents that cannot afford to feed their children 3 times in a day? They are asking them to come and pay 50,000 naira for WAEC and NECO fees. So all these things.
Let's just expand it further, just without trying to butt so much into your thoughts. If you can hear me, sir. Why do you think, because I'm sure people sat down, thought through, rationalized, and convinced themselves that as at this time, it is important to, or for them, it's important to increase these fees from maybe 30 or 25, depending on which you're looking at, to 50, a uniform amount of 50,000. What do you think there was, because trying to just play the devil's advocate, what do you think was going through their mind in making that decision? Is it that the NECO and WAEC is a revenue-generating exam, or it helps them to, fulfill certain kinds of obligation? I'm trying to think through, because I'm not in the sector, you are in the sector. What do you think is going on? Did you hear my question, sir?
No, sir. The network was bad, sir.
Oh, boy. Okay. Can you hear me now?
But I heard the first part.
Can you hear me better now? So I'll just paraphrase.
Yes, please paraphrase it again.
Okay, I was just saying that what do you think was going through the mind of the persons who sat down to increase it? They must have a reason for thinking this is the right time and this is the right amount, given what we're dealing with as a country. What do you think is going on?
Thank you, sir. I love your question. Who are those that sat down to come out with this policy that there should be increment in WAEC and NECO fees at this point in time when Nigerians are battling harsh economic realities? Some of us are interested in knowing those that sat down to counsel them and give them advice that economic situation of the country now warrants another infliction of pains to parents. I don't think anybody sat down with Honorable Minister of Education to come out with this one. And if there's anyone that have sat down with him, those people are not being realistic. They just want to cause another problem for our president. Because the president that I know loves education. And may I tell you this one completely? Whether we like it or not, education should not be a revenue-generated means from the less privileged. Though NECO and WAEC serve as an IGR to the Ministry of Education, fine. We can't blame them. They have their own ways also of conducting their examinations. If we look at the hard bottleneck they are trying to pass through, they will print examination questions. They will make sure they conduct examination questions. They make sure the examination questions move around all the states across the country. They will make sure that they mark the papers and release the results on time. Fine. But nevertheless, there should be an human face in any policy that should be introduced. Even if you want to increase WAEC and NECO fee, it should not be at this present time when things are easy for Nigerian parents. Is it the parents that have 3 children in school that struggle to send them to school from GS1 to SS3? Is it a parent that doesn't even have means to give their children what to eat when they are going to school? These are things that we should consider when we are formulating policies and when we are coming out with policies. So when you said some people must have sat down, I wonder who might have sat down to advise our brilliant and erudite Minister of Education that at this point in time, he should come out with the policy of increment of WAEC and NECO fees. That means you are telling us that the brilliant and intelligent students in our schools will not be opportune to sit down for the examination again. Do you know that we have some brilliant students in our schools that they are indigent students? They don't have any means to sponsor themselves. Some of us, we have made it as a project in our personal capacity to sponsor some students at every year. Because some of us were in that line before God took us up and God made us to be what we are today. We have some indigent students that are brilliant, but they don't have means to write the examination.
No, but
if this policy comes...
Mr. Besoa,
yes.
Some would say that public secondary education and in fact primary education in a lot of the states in the country are, free, subsidized to a very large extent. Well, except in Lagos, where you find in some schools parents pay for a number of many other things, so it's just partially free. But in a number of states of the Federation, secondary education is hugely subsidized, and perhaps WAEC and NECO fees are a one-off that doesn't come to parents as a surprise. They have had a whole 6 years to prepare for that particular payment, and so an increase should not be something so difficult to achieve. What are your thoughts on this particular argument?
Thank you so much. Education is free, no problem. But nevertheless, even in free time, not everything are free. As a stakeholder, some of us are against state government paying the school fee, the examination fee for the final year students, because some students are taking it for granted. Some students are taken for granted. They thought that nobody will scold me if I fail or if I pass. And you said so parents should have prepared for 6 years before they get to SS3. Fine. The mentality in the parents, I put myself as a parent. In which parent is this? How much did you register for WAEC last year? Last year WAEC was 25,000 naira. Gradually, it increased to 35,000 naira. Now, you are bringing it up sharply to 50,000 naira. That means you are telling us that we want our brilliant students to be cut off from the schools. I agree with you that the education is free. Yes, nearly all Southwest states are making education to be free, including my state, Ogun State. But nevertheless, when it comes to examination payment, let the parent responsible for the payment of their children and their words, so that the children also can know that they have to be serious in what they're doing. And that doesn't give room for Ministry of Education, coordinated by erudite scholar and brilliant scholar, Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Lausa, to allow anyone to advise him wrongly, to inflict pains on the poor parents, poor Nigerian parents that are still struggling to send their children to school. And finally, on your question, you asked preparation for payment of WAEC. They would have prepared. There is a set mind. If I have four children in secondary school, my first one is in SS3 now. My other one was SS3 last year. My second one is in SS2 this year. My third one is in the GS3. My last one is in GS2. I will have prepared my heart that what I paid last year is what I will pay again. For the past 5 or 6 years, there have been stable payment of WAEC fees and NECO fees. Why this sudden increase? What do they want to get from it, the sudden increase? Do they want to tell us that they feel the pains of parents more than we on the field? Let me give an example. In some schools, nearly half of SS3 students, most of them, they are from parents that are still struggling and hustling to feed themselves, talk less of their children. Now, those parents, they have in mind that when they get to SS3, definitely there will be succor that will come to them. The succor will be that what they are prepared for, they will pay it for SS3. Now, this policy now comes up that from this year, there's 50,000 naira increment of WAEC and NECO fee. I want you to agree with me. It will be a pain on the student and for the parents that are struggling to send their children to school. Don't forget, most of us that are somebody today, who were once in that stage before faith took us up and brought us to limelight.
All right.
Some of our parents are hustlers, and they struggle to make sure that they pay our school fees.
Yeah.
Some of us failed our WAEC at the first sitting.
Mr. Felix, apologies, we're totally out of time. We thank you so much for your insight on this particular one. Thank you so much because we have a lot more conversation. But I think your points are well noted, Mr. Felix. Agbeson is the chairman, Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, also the National PRO of ASAS. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.